The McLaren CEO, Zak Brown, said that Jos Verstappen, Max's father, won pretty much everything. Zak Brown was in the Netherlands on the Wednesday before the Dutch Grand Prix in August when his team announced in Amsterdam that they had a great new sponsor deal with MasterCard. During that interview, he spoke about the second best F1 driver the Netherlands has produced, Jos the Boss. Let's see what he said and if it holds up. Zak Brown has good memories of the Netherlands because he lived in my country for a bit in 1992 when he was racing in the Benelux Formula Opel Lotus Championship. He lived in a place called Deurne in the southeast of the country. During an interview in the Dutch capital Amsterdam, he said a few surprising things about Jos, who is not very highly regarded by a lot of people, who just don't like him. Zak Brown knows Jos from the F1 paddock, of course, but also from when they raced each other in 1992 in the championship I just mentioned. Jos Verstappen won that series. Here's what the Papaya leader had to say. Jos practically won everything. Jos is really such a driver who was much more talented than his final results might suggest. He never really got a fair chance in Formula 1. Of course, Jos was next to Michael Schumacher at Benetton, which was perhaps not ideal for him. Zak also said he enjoyed his time here, but that's not relevant for this video, although I do like to hear these things. I think Jos Verstappen's career is criminally underrated. People love bringing up negative things, and the highlights are quickly forgotten. Therefore, people are made to believe that Jos Verstappen only spent time in the gravel trap or only caused crashes, when the truth is that he had an almost 10-year career in Formula 1 after winning a lot of series before that. And he's still going strong in rally right now. So my plan is to look at all the teams he drove for in F1 and tell you a highlight from all of those stints. The team where Jos Verstappen made his debut was Flavio Briatore's Benetton. He was a reserve driver there when all of a sudden he had to fill in for JJ Leto, who had a neck injury. Now Verstappen was a reserve and test driver as he wasn't ready for a full-time seat yet. He was 23 and it was a miracle he got this far without any funding of his own. So he got into that seat next to the worst teammate you can imagine. Michael Schumacher, as always in his career, had the team in the palm of his hand. And that meant that he even had a say on how the second car was set up, in case he needed it. Therefore, Jos, being a rookie, thrown in later in the season, struggled quite a bit. But, as a highlight, he did manage to score a podium in Hungary. He was the first Dutch Formula 1 driver to score a podium, and this is where Verstappen mania began. He scored another podium in Belgium that year as well. He was on fire. Well, no. Benetton had removed a filter from the fuel hose to fill the tank quicker, and during an incident in Germany, he was involved in a pit fire. Thankfully, he didn't get hurt too badly. You'd think that Flavio Briatore would be kind to his driver after an ordeal like that, but he replaced Jos with the annoying loudmouth Johnny Herbert. Briatore had another plan with Jos. He placed him at Simtech, the team run by a young man called Nick Worth, which had a hugely popular MTV brand as a sponsor. They needed a good driver, so Jos got the opportunity to race in at least 6 races there. Jos Verstappen's 1995 stint with the underfunded Simtech team was a tough one, marked by chronic reliability woes, limited testing, and the squad's eventual bankruptcy after just 5 races. Despite these challenges, he did deliver some standout starts that showcased his raw talent and aggressive style, often charging up the order from deep in the midfield before mechanical gremlins struck. He really impressed at the Brazilian Grand Prix at Interlagos on March 26 in 1995, his Simtech debut. Starting from 22nd on the grid after a qualifying lap hampered by setup issues, Verstappen rocketed forward in the damp conditions, slicing through the pack to reach as high as 6th place by lap 20. He passed slower cars early on, capitalizing on a strong launch and the track's flowing layout. Sadly, the transmission failed on lap 32, dropping him out of the points and ending what could have been a heroic points haul for the team. I made a video about Simtech before, which you can see here, but promise to finish this video as well, please. Verstappen was brought into footwork in 1996 to inject energy alongside teammate Ricardo Rosset, with the team hoping his aggressive driving could maximize their underpowered package. At footwork, Verstappen's 1996 season was a bit of a mixed bag, marked by flashes of brilliance but hampered by the car's lack of pace and reliability issues. Jos had a standout performance at the Argentine Grand Prix in April 1996. Verstappen qualified 13th and finished 6th, scoring 1 point, footwork's only point of the season. He overtook drivers like Mika Salo and fended off pressure in the race with high attrition, showcasing his ability to maximize the car's potential. This was an amazing result, as footwork rarely finished inside of the points. His qualifying head-to-head was 15-1, which is very impressive against an experienced driver like Rosset. After the 1996 season with footwork, Jos Verstappen got himself a new opportunity for 1997, as footwork's underpowered hard V8 and limited budget limited his ability to show off his talent. His aggressive driving and ability to outperform modern machinery appealed to Tyrrell, which was struggling with an uncompetitive car and sponsorship woes. Verstappen's 1997 season with Tyrrell was frustrating, with no points scored due to the car's lack of competitiveness and frequent retirements. Jos had 10 DNFs out of 17 races. However, a standout performance came at the Monaco Grand Prix in May 1997, where his skill in tricky conditions and on a driver-dependent track shone through. Verstappen made a strong start from P19, avoiding early chaos and gaining positions as others struggled. He ran as high as 8th during the race, overtaking slower cars like Minardi's Jarno Trulli and holding off pressure from drivers with better machinery. His smooth driving and ability to manage the Tyrrell's handling issues kept him in contention for a potential points finish in a race with high attrition. The result was not great, unfortunately. A gearbox failure on lap 39 ended his race, a recurring theme for Tyrrell that season. Despite the DNF, his performance was pretty good, as he was keeping the uncompetitive Tyrrell in the top 10 for most of the race, earning praise for his pace and control on a track where driver skill outweighs car performance. Jos Verstappen then went to the new team started by Jackie Stewart. Jos was a test and reserve driver there for the 1998 season, with Stewart was his most consistent since his Benetton days, though the SF3's reliability issues and the midfield pace limited results. A standout performance came at the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. Verstappen qualified 17th in a field of 22, outpacing teammate Barrichello despite the car's struggles with grip and straight line speed. The circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with its heavy braking zones and walls, demands precision and bravery, suiting Verstappen's aggressive style. The race had a lot of DNFs with crashes and mechanical failures, shaking up the order. Jos made a strong start, gaining positions early and running as high as 6th during the race. He overtook drivers like the Arrows of Pedro de la Rosa and held his own against faster cars, capitalizing on incidents like Michael Schumacher's crash into the Wall of Champions. His pace and clean driving kept him in contention for points in a chaotic race. Unfortunately, a transmission failure on lap 35 ended his race, denying him a potential point finish. Despite the DNF, his performance was considered a great race because he kept the Stewart competitive in a race where driver skill and strategy were critical, earning praise for his speed and composure. Stewart became Jaguar Racing and they didn't keep Jos Verstappen, so he moved to Arrows. Verstappen's time at Arrows spanned 2 seasons, with 7 points scored across 34 races. A standout performance came at the Austrian Grand Prix at the A1 ring. Verstappen qualified 15th in a field of 22, ahead of teammate Pedro de la Rosa. The A1 ring's short track in the hills favored driver skill and bravery in braking zones, and it suited Verstappen's aggressive style. Jos made a blistering start, gaining multiple positions off the line and climbing into the top 10 early. He overtook cars like the Prost or Jean Alesi and held a strong pace, running as high as 6th during the race. His bold overtaking and ability to manage the Arrows A21's tricky handling kept him in contention for points, despite the car's lack of outright speed compared to the frontrunners like McLaren and Ferrari. Verstappen finished 5th, scoring 2 points, one of his best results with the Arrows and a rare highlight for the team in 2000. He capitalized on retirements and maintained a clean race to secure the result, beating more competitive cars. After Arrow's financial collapse at the end of the 2001 season, Jos Verstappen was left without a Formula 1 seat for 2002. He returned to F1 in 2003, with Minardi, a small, underfunded team known for giving opportunities to talented drivers despite their chronically uncompetitive cars. Verstappen's 2003 season with Minardi was predictably tough, with no points scored and frequent retirements. He suffered 10 DNFs in 16 races due to mechanical failures. However, a standout performance came at the French Grand Prix in July 2003 at Magny-Cours. Verstappen qualified 19th out of 20 ahead of teammate Justin Wilson, in a car significantly slower than the rest of the field. The Magny-Cours circuit, with its smooth surface and a mix of high-speed corners and heavy braking zones, allowed Verstappen's aggressive driving style to shine. The race saw some DNFs and strategic opportunities for backmarkers. Verstappen made a strong start, gaining positions early and running as high as 12th during the race. He overtook Wilson and battled with the Jaguars and the Jordans, which were far more competitive. His pace was impressive for a Minardi, and he maintained a clean race, avoiding mistakes on a track where precision was key. Verstappen's ability to keep the car competitive in the midfield for stretches of the race highlighted his skill in wringing every ounce of performance from the underpowered PS03. He finished 14th, 2 laps down, but ahead of Wilson and the other Minardi. While outside of the points, this was a notable achievement for a team that rarely finished races, let alone challenged for midfield positions. The results showcase Verstappen's experience and determination, earning praise from the team for his professionalism. This was Jos Verstappen's last season in F1. He started a new project soon after his career, when he started training Max. As you can see with these highlights, at every team Jos drove for in F1, he was rated highly by his peers, and everyone understood he never had the equipment to shine, except in his debut season with Benetton. A career spanning almost 10 years is not for every driver who joins F1. Many drivers had way shorter stints. I think it's very impressive what he showed, especially seeing that he didn't come from a wealthy background. He just worked his way through the ranks in motorsport and ended up in F1 despite the challenges he faced. Challenges he knew all too well when he started preparing Max for F1. If I were to compare Jos's career with a driver on the recent grid, I'd say he's more like Kevin Magnussen, who also had around 10 years in the sport, with seasons where he was out of F1. Nico Hülkenberg might be a tad more talented perhaps than Jos, but Jos scored 2 podiums and Nico only 1, so far. So yeah, I hope this video helps to get rid of the bias people have against Jos Verstappen when it comes to his F1 career. The man was mighty quick and was always loved in the teams he joined. At the moment, he's the champion of the Belgian Rally Championship. I've seen footage of that a few times, and I think these guys are nuts. Especially the guys who are in the passenger seat. I think I'd scream like a little girl at those speeds and shit my pants. Also, I'd get lost without my navigation on, so I'd end up in France or something. Anyway, let me know what you think about Jos Verstappen's career and Zak Brown's comments. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Take care now. Doei doei.